Welcome everybody to a review and unboxing of the latest Masters of Cinema release from Eureka, and it is the Andrzej Zulawski box set. So 3 of his films, 2 from the 70s, 1 from the 80s, and also a documentary and a whole host of other special features included as well. So I've only seen one film from Zulawski before, which was 1981's Possession, but that's an extremely good film, and all 3 of these films are either on par with that film or better. The first of which, though, is the third part of The Night from 1971, which is included in this single case with the second film. From 1971, it clocks in at 105 minutes long, and it's set during the Nazi occupation of Poland, in which Michael witnesses the murder of his mother, wife, and child. He is hurled into a life that is not his own, a surreal world littered with trapdoors, doppelgangers, and wormholes. It also tells the true untold story of a Nazi vaccine laboratory where Jews and members of the resistance were employed as feeders for parasites infected with typhus. I say employed because they were basically forced to do it. They either didn't do it and they didn't get any real rations or food or shelter, or they were, persecuted and sent off to concentration camps, or they did it and they went through this terrible experience, but at least they weren't sent off to concentration camps and had some extra food to go for them. But still a horrifying experience, and it's really, really well portrayed in this film. So, like with Possession, I'm not going for one moment to suggest that I understand every level of this mix of the psychological, drama, and horror genres set during World War II, but there is no doubt that I was captivated by this from beginning to end. While it was overall a stunning debut effort from director Zulawski, who practically immediately shows off his talent. The cast, cinematography, score, production, editing, lighting, tone of the film, themes, and tension are all excellent. The violence is also well executed. It doesn't hold back with its depiction of Poland during World War II, and it is a film that is never boring no matter what is going on. Now I'm sure I would have enjoyed this more had I understood more of the plot, or at least what it was trying to go for. But I feel that was more down to me than the film itself. But unfortunately, because I didn't entirely get some of the aspects of it, and it's mainly down to the way the plot is structured in terms of what the character is actually experiencing, whether or not some of it's actually true or false or not like that. It just didn't satisfyingly enough tie all that together for me personally. But still, solid 4 out of 5, same as which I gave Possession. And then on the same disc, on the same case in fact, we have The Devil from 1972, clocking in at 125 minutes long, so 20 minutes longer than the previous film. And it's about young Polish nobleman Jakub, who is saved from imprisonment by a stranger. In return, the stranger wants to obtain a list of Jakub's fellow conspirators. As he follows his mysterious saviour across the country, Jakub is affected by the overall chaos and moral corruption. He goes insane and becomes a mass murderer. So although I prefer the World War II setting of the prior film as opposed to the 18th century setting of this horror film, this was on the whole just as captivating as that effort, but it has overall a more satisfying conclusion that more effectively wraps up the madness preceding its conclusion. The cast is also great, it is well paced, the production is solid, the plot is thoroughly engrossing, the cinematography is excellent, the character interactions are well executed, it has some worthwhile themes, and the score is well done. So, yeah, on the whole, I preferred that to the third part of The Night and Possession, to be honest. 4.5 out of 5 as far as I'm concerned. And then in its own case, alongside the documentary of the film, is On the Silver Globe from 1988. So this clocks in at 165 minutes long, so again, even longer than the previous two. And it's about a small group of cosmic explorers who leave Earth to find freedom and start a new civilization. So considering 20% of this epic science fiction film never even got shot, meaning there is narration in place to explain those missing scenes, this is more coherent than I expected it to be. But that said, there are definitely parts to this that are left unsatisfying as a result of those missing parts, while other elements are either confusing or just not given enough of a satisfactory explanation. Obviously, I don't expect every part of a scene to be explained to the T and everything. Some scenes do need to be left up to interpretation of the viewer, but there are certain elements that are just left dangling or not explained. One crucial scene is how a certain character gets from one place to another, and it's just left open, completely open and not explained at all, which, yeah, is a little bit annoying. But despite all of that, I still found this to be utterly captivating, especially thanks to its plot, which, like prior Zulawski films, really do manage to take you on a journey that is utterly unpredictable. The imagination behind the production and the look of everything is also really rather great. The cast is solid, it is predominantly well paced, the cinematography is excellent, it is thematically well realised, and the score is good. So, yeah, for a film that is, missing a fifth of its whole running time, which I estimate to be between 30 and 33 minutes, which is obviously a substantial amount of any kind of film, never mind one that is as, plot heavy as that film is, then yeah, that is really surprising that it still, to some degree, works as well as it does. So yeah, the first two films have their own disc each. And that's the devil. And on the discs themselves, they're both in 1080p high definition from Definitive Restorations. The original mono audio tracks as well have been restored. You've got optional English subtitles for both the films, which were approved by the director before his untimely death in 2016. You've also got Michael Brook on the third part of The Night and The Devil, two brand new interviews with film historian Michael Brook. And then you got Lukasz Zawalski on The Devil, brand new interview. I actually watched the Michael Brook interviews just to gain a little bit more of context to those two films, and yeah, both of those really did help in that regard. And then on the Silver Globe, also on its own disc, I like how the disc is coloured to fit the kind of tone of the look of the film as well, so that's really nice. And then you've got the documentary Escape the Silver Globe. Now, I've not seen the documentary itself because it's 95 minutes long and I've already watched a good few hundred minutes of films with the previous with the three main features. So yeah, I just hadn't had time really to fit the documentary in. But considering it was never meant to be part of this release, it's really good to see that it's not only part of the release itself, but also has its own disc, because this was originally planned to only be a 2-disc set, and then they expanded it to 3 when it was delayed, and then they finally expanded it to 4 when it was delayed again. So yeah, it's really pleasing to see that despite the delays that it's had, Eureka have just gone more in with the release itself to just, make it the most definitive edition of all 3 films as possible. So yeah, the reason why it was only 80% complete on the Silver Globe, by the way, is because the Polish government ordered the production to be shut down and all the negatives destroyed. Thankfully, the negatives survived. But yeah, unfortunately, by the time it came to actually getting around to finishing the film, actors have aged or moved on, or it just would not have fit the overall narrative of the film to squeeze in that final 20%. So that's why it's had to be narrated over it. But still, it's presented in 1080p high definition on Blu-ray from the Definitive Restoration. Again, you got the original mono audio track, optional English subtitles, again approved by director Zawalski before his death in 2016. Then you've got Escape to the Silver Globe, directed by Kuba Mercada, from 2021, UK debut of the acclaimed documentary on the production history of On the Silver Globe. Brand new audio commentary by Daniel Bird, Adam Zawalski on Jerzy Zawalski, brand new interview. You got then Return to the Silver Globe, a 2019 footage of cinematographer. I'm not going to try and say his name because I'll just butcher it, but the cinematographer revisiting the Polish salt mine used as a filming location for On the Silver Globe. Then you've got the cinematography of On the Silver Globe, new documentary by Daniel Bird, and then you've got Lunar Futurism, another new documentary by Daniel Bird. So yeah, bunch of documentaries there. I've not seen any of them yet, especially the main documentary that has its own disc on this, just because again I haven't had really the time to get through them all. So yeah, the box itself is a nice hard box as per usual. That is highly appreciated. Nothing more annoying than a box set that has a really flimsy case around the cases, and then there's a side, and there's nothing on the back because you have a J card that has all the information that is also on the back of the cases as well. I would like more bits on the back, to be honest. It just feels a little bit lazy just to leave it as black. If you're going to have all the information on the back with a J card, then why not just print it on the box itself, as far as I'm concerned. And then you also get a booklet as well. Really nice one. Nothing on the back though. Again, feels a little bit lazy on that regard. But then you've also got all of the cast and the crew for all three films, and then you've also got The Enigmas of Zulawski by Philip Kemp, Unidentified Film Object by Daniel Byrd, Andrzej Zulawski's On the Silver Globe by Andrew Graves, The Tale of a Confiscated Film, A Letter to the Ministry of Culture, Viewing Notes, and Blu-ray credits. So no doubt the letter to the Ministry of Culture is about why the On the Silver Globe was, asked to stop production, or maybe it's about the devil, which was banned for 16 years. So surprising that the film negatives for that were also saved. So yeah, Zawalski's career was clearly littered with films that were, unfairly maligned by authorities. So yeah, which is a great deal of shame. There's a letter itself, in fact, which again is really interesting that that's been able to be that survived. And then you've got the English translation on there as well. And then all the viewing notes about aspect ratios and the like. And then you've got shots from the films. Click there, for instance. So yeah, all three films are really, really good. Like I said, I give the third part of the night 4 out of 5, The Devil 4.5 out of 5, and On the Silver Globe 4 out of 5. So yeah, excellent box set. I really didn't have all that big of expectations for this, because even though I really rather enjoyed Possession, that at the end of the day had Western stars like Sam Neill. Well, I say Western, more notable stars, should I say, in that film, because Sam Neill's in it. You've got Isabel Arjani, who's in that as well, who I've seen the likes of The Driver. So I at least knew 2 of the actors in that film. So that always eases me into a film a bit better if I know the people that are in it. But didn't know any of the actors in this. I'd only seen one film from the director before, so I didn't really feel like I knew what I was wholly getting in for, considering I've only seen one of his films, and for all I knew, that was more of a mainstream kind of film from him. So yeah, but all three of these were really, really good, really excellent, thoroughly engrossing throughout. Even if some of the films went right over my head, I was enjoying them regardless. And yeah, they're just all very captivating and really, really well done. And yeah, for Zawalski to come out of the door with the third part of the night and just nail it pretty much all off the bat is just really, really impressive. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of his films. I'm not sure how many more he actually did, but yeah, really looking forward to seeing the rest of them, if I can get my hands on them, or maybe Eureka will release more of them if this has been a success, which I hope it has been, because it's always a joy to get films from countries that I've not seen much from before. I think I've only seen one native Polish film before, so yeah, really, really great to get more from them. And yeah, hopefully that means that other boutique labels or Eureka themselves will release more films from other countries that we just haven't seen a lot from. In fact, our video have just announced a Coffin Joe box set, which has 11 films from Brazil, the first of which was the first ever Brazilian horror film. So again, really, really looking forward to that. But this itself was excellent in its own right. And yeah, I'm glad it's finally been released. But the delays have clearly worked wonders with the extras and the look of the films overall. So yeah, get out there and get them. Get this box set if you haven't already. I do highly recommend it, especially if you're into your more European cinema, foreign language cinema, and the like. Obviously, not all of these are horror films, but the first 2 definitely have horror elements to them, which are always worthwhile as far as I'm concerned as a bigger horror fan. So yeah, but if you've seen these films before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.